I didn't hear Peter Gunn yet.
You're about to. You're live.
I'm live without Peter. Well, we're back. This is Steve Sanchez, Jim Jonas, and Troy Warren, veterans in politics. Today we have Nicole. What is Nicole's last name?
Low?
My God. You know, folks, this has been a hectic week. Next week's radio show went out at midnight. It went out at midnight. I'm like, how the heck did that happen? I think I hit the wrong button. That's what I think happened. But
you got a lot going on because come the 14th, there should be Assemblyman-elect, right?
Yeah. One would think, and then I got to deal with a whole bunch of stuff, and I'm like, it's just craziness. You know, running for office is like a job.
It's actually time and a half.
It's like a job, and I forgot how time consuming it was. But we're going to have Nicole Hughes. She is the founder of, was it
Vets for Pets? Pets for Vets.
Pets for Vets.
Pets for Vets.
Not vets for pets.
No.
Pets for vets. And we were supposed to have Assemblyman John Ellison, but then he was trying to pawn Ira Hansen on me, another assemblyman. So I don't know which one of those two we're supposed to have on, but one of them better call me. That's all I know. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So anybody have any rants, Jonas?
Just not really a rant. I just think this whole now that Trump is the presumptive nominee, it's pretty funny. I getting a lot of good arguments with my brother about Donald Trump.
Which one?
Steve.
Air Force.
Yeah, Air Force Steve. He's betting everybody that, like I was telling Troy on the way here, that he's going to fold like a $5 Walmart lawn chair. Yeah. Yeah. Every single thing he said he's going to do, he's not going to do any of them. Yeah. And he's just going to do whatever anybody wants him to do.
Well, here's my thing about Trump. You know, I hear a lot, and I've even complained a lot. I said, I want something different. You know what? I'm willing to take the chance. Right. Like, seriously, even on the third party, especially the Libertarians, because they're getting some, Gary Johnson, McAfee, Austin, all those guys are getting a lot of airtime right now, and actually Gary Johnson's pulling pretty good on that stuff. So, we have different this time, people. Better. What were they? Crooked Hillary? Yeah. Is that the new term now?
That's Trump's new marketing term for Hillary.
Wow. So there's a lot of stuff going on. This last week, though, after the Democratic convention here, there's been a little bit of fallout on that. I guess Bernie Sanders is taking some heat because his people weren't registered. I'm assuming that's what it was, because I had some friends down there and they were posting about it, and I'm thinking to myself, you either love him or hate him. However, Trump and Sanders, they have flushed up all of the backhanded crap that goes on on this stuff, and I'm kind of digging it. I'm kind of sitting back and laughing and watching, and there's been a couple of people just beating that horse. Some about a chair got thrown, and there was a guy on a couple of the pages on Facebook, and he just kept beating that horse. Does anybody got that video? Anybody got that video? Anybody got that video? And it's like, dude, I don't know how much deader that horse can be, man. Let it go.
Yeah, I thought the thing on Facebook that I really liked was Melanie Howard put a post out. Melanie's running for what? AB 14, I think?
Something like that.
Anyway, Melanie's been around the Clark County Republican Party for quite a while and does a lot of good work. But when one of the Bernie Sanders guys jumped over a chair and picked another chair up and went after a Metro police officer. I liked what she put down there. She goes, yeah, those of us who have been around for a while understand what "don't gavel me, bro" really means. and the poor guy, he's trying to, the guy up there, I call him a poor guy. I'm sure Cindy Lake wouldn't agree with me. He's trying to get order back And he goes, "You're out of order," and hits the gavel, and that's the first thing he does. He stands up and he yells, "Don't gavel me, bro!" And he picks up a chair and he jumps over a row of chairs and hits a cop.
Cop.
And it was just hilarious because and the reason why
I didn't know that.
Melania put that out is because that's not quite to that extreme, but that's kind of what happened with the whole Ron Paul thing when the Ron Paul supporters shut down the Republican state convention in '08. And my buddy to my right here had to escort out a state senator out of the room that was trying to do the same thing. He just was trying to get order back, and he put his gavel down, and that just started this whole ruckus, and Sanson had to escort him out.
Bob Beers.
Yeah. So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just it's just interesting, this whole primary season. It just brings out a lot of passion, and
Okay, so
pretty interesting
So
stuff.
back that bus. You had to escort Bob Beers out.
Yeah, he was going
The
to get
human version of the Quaalude.
he was going to get his
You
butt
had
whipped
to.
Yeah.
Seriously.
by the Ron Paul people.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
I would have never imagined
Up in
that
Reno.
out of Bob.
Oh, it was bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody left him. Mike McDonald took off. He was sergeant at arms. He'd already left. Sue Loudon was already at the airport, probably boarded the plane. And it was just me and Bob Beers there.
Ever since I jumped on this side of the fence into politics when I ran in 2014 and running now, man, I have encountered some of the strangest stuff, some of the wackiest people. It's one thing if you want to come after me and hate me or whatever, but man, some of the comments and some of the personal attacks is just absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
So it just win or lose, man. I don't know if I can do this again.
Yeah. That's why I think it's interesting that now with Trump being a presumptive nominee, all that stuff that he said before and what we were just talking about with how politics, and some of the stuff that happens, supposedly now everybody is supposed to forgive everything that Trump said and now be on board with Trump. The whole little Marco and all the insults that this guy's put out over over the last 6 months, and now all of a sudden they're supposed to just fall in line. My thing is that, I don't think it's their responsibility to fall in line. I think it's Trump's responsibility, actually, to sit down and have a conversation with these people and get them back on board with him.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, the last time I checked, it's a free country. I don't know how free it is anymore. However, I'm with you, though. I think Trump needs to go out there and enroll people into what he's doing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's take a commercial break.
All right.
Sounds good.
We're going to take a commercial break, folks. I don't know who we're coming back with. If we come back with Assemblyman Ira Hansen or John Ellison. Apparently, we're not running the show today. This is Steve Sanson, Troy Warren, and Jim Jonas with Veterans in Politics. We'll be right back.
My name is Heidi Hanus, and I'm a marriage and family therapist. I recently opened my own practice under the name of Faith Individual and Family Counseling in the area of Summerlin. I have been practicing family therapy for 14 years, and I work well with individuals, children, teens, couples, and most of all, families. I have experience in a variety of areas, which include family conflict, communication issues, grief, anxiety, depression, anger issues, addiction, adjustment to life changes, trauma, and most forms of mood disorder. The agency work I have done has given me the experience to work with all levels of issues from severe to mild. I believe in change and positive outcome.
We are back, folks. That was a fast break. This is Steve Sanson, Troy Warren, Jim Jones, Veterans in Politics. We have Assemblyman John Ellison on the line in Nowhere Land. I think he's on the planet Pluto or something like that. Assemblyman.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Assemblyman, could you tell us where you're calling from?
I'm actually up on the top of a mountaintop outside of, I'm between Winnemucca and Elko. I'm up on a site called Immigrant Pass.
What are you doing up there, Assemblyman?
Because I'm in and out of this area on a bucket truck.
Oh, okay. So you're an electrician, correct?
Right,
Okay.
right.
Give us your background.
Well, I'm an electrical contractor. Sure to help if anybody needs a job. Call me, will you? And I asked Ira to call for me because I'm out here in the middle of nowhere. But I do have some good news for you. I tell you, we went to the veteran cemetery and moved the remains of a veteran on last Friday.
Uh-huh.
And I tell you that the cemetery that they have for the veterans, the military cemetery there outside of Fallon, is amazing.
Assemblyman Ellison, could you just give us a background about you?
Could you say that again?
Could you give us a background about yourself, a bio?
Oh, I'm an electrical contractor. I served 2 years as planning commission, 10 years as city councilman, and 10 years as county commissioner, and 6 years as a legislator.
Okay. And in the last session, tell us about the last session. When you were up in Carson City.
Yeah, we got a lot of good things done. We got a lot of things that we didn't agree with, and the main thing was we got a lot of good bills out. The veterans bills was amazing what we got out, and we got passed through. And I don't think we would have got it passed through if we had a different makeup, But we actually got just about 90% of every one of the veterans bills we needed throughout.
Which one stands
there was
out?
a disagreement on some of the other stuff. There's a disagreement on some of the other stuff that was out there, the commerce tax or the bullion bill or some of these that there was split votes on. But the main thing is that the main thing we had out there was the veterans bills, and they went through really well.
Which veterans bills stand out that you felt is the most priority?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What veteran bill that stands out in your mind that you feel it was a priority to get passed?
Well, we've got funding for the different facilities. We got we've got the job programs that was issued back through. It was actually really good. There's preferential work programs that they can bid on projects and give them preferential treatment. So all them things went through. There was one that wouldn't, and that would have given them more of an advantage totally over three-class deal. So it actually worked out really good. They went through the Assembly, went through the Senate. The governor passed them into law, and at the end of the day, it was probably the best victories we had for the veterans this session.
Gotcha.
So, Assemblyman, right before Steve asked you that question, you had said that you think that a lot of this stuff for the veterans that you guys were able to get done wouldn't have been able to get done if you would have had another makeup in a different makeup in the Assembly. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Could you redo that again? I had a car pass down underneath us, and I couldn't hear a word you said.
Yeah, sure.
I'm really out in the sticks. I mean, I'm way out here.
Yeah, no, and Assemblyman, actually, I really appreciate the fact that you're calling in and doing this. This actually is very speaks a lot about you as a person, and so people understand and truly. You are representing the people because you're out there working, and then also you serve in the legislature. My question is you had said that you weren't able to get, you were able to get a lot of veterans things done in this session. you didn't think you would have been able to get as much of that done if you would have had a different makeup in the legislature. What did you mean by that?
Oh, well, I mean, there's a difference of opinion, and that's good. I believe in, democracy, and everybody got their own opinion. I've got a very strong conservative opinion on issues, and some looked at things another way, and that's not good, that's not bad. It's a difference of opinion. But at one point in time, I was elected by my people in my district that was very conservative and wanted me to stay conservative. So I kept my oath to my people in Elko. But you've got people out there that look at a different way and say, look, my people want me to get these schools in. Clark County was a big fight on trying to get the school programs through, which they got. They got the new, 17 new schools they're going to get. They're going to get the teachers they need. The classroom reduction size will be a big thing, which will help Clark County. So that's where I think the difference of opinions come in. So I voted what I thought was good. They voted the way they thought they were good.
Yeah, that's another thing that's been brought up a lot too, Assemblyman, is about the fight between North and South, and how we're pretty much, when you get up there in Assembly, it's almost like we're two states instead of one. How difficult is it to compromise with some of your assemblymen that the majority of their district is in Clark County, and what's the conversations like around that? Because I always find it fascinating that a lot of people in Clark County think they should have more power because there's more people down here.
Well, you're breaking up really bad, but I heard a part about the assembly makeup, and I'm not sure if you said commerce tax or what you said. So I hate to keep asking you to repeat this.
No, it's okay, Assemblyman.
I'm way up here, and the wind's blowing really bad, and I'm not hearing very well.
Right. No, I mean, I'm just talking north versus south. You got a lot of your colleagues are from the south, and then you got some from the north, and there seems to be a divisiveness between the two. And how do you guys work that out to make the state good as a whole?
Well, I agree. And, with this fight's been going on for 90 years, some people in Clark County feel that they subsidize the whole state, and that's not true. They do. Well, I totally agree that what the cost takes, the state of Nevada highway system would not get done. I mean, that's a true story, because they do help fund road systems in the state of Nevada. Like in the rural counties where we have tilt and payment in lieu of taxes, that comes from mining. That goes back into our education, so it offsets what we actually receive in education money, which actually goes back to the South. So for years and years they've had these arguments, but to me there shouldn't be a North and the South. There should be a Nevada, and that's the most important thing we can do. Is we're under one God, one country, and one blue sky, and we should be saying what's good for the state of Nevada. And there's sometimes there could be a strong disagreements and strong opinions. At the end of the day, you just got to vote what you feel, what's good for the state you feel like, and I've got strong opinions. I vote my opinion. So.
Well, Assemblyman, this is Troy.
And I hope that answered your question, because it's so bad of hearing out here.
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblyman. My name's Troy Warren, and my question revolves around the commerce tax. Like, what were the battles like up there? Because I hear different things. Because we as the voters in the state of Nevada voted that thing down, and yet it went through. And how bad you being a business owner? How bad does it affect you and your business?
Well, thank God that they did raise it up to the $4 million level, because that's going to limit a lot of people totally out of it. that was the biggest fear you had. If they left it $1 million, you can make $1 million and never make a profit.
That's no
But
joke.
if they lower that rate, if that rate ever gets lowered, then that's where the damage will come from. Because you can have a small business just starting off, and they might make $50,000 to $75,000 for the first 5 years. Doesn't mean they're going to turn a profit. So you're limiting them business from existence. I feel and I've been in business 90% of my life. I've been in ranching. I've got commercial property. I've got residential property. I've got a construction company. So we used to have a large trailer park. We don't know more, but that kind of stuff can really, really limit, the growth in Nevada as far as business goes. And why does people come to Nevada? There's no sales tax or no commercial tax, and right now, the commerce tax is acting like a state tax, and that's what we not need. I still think we could have done everything we needed to do. This is myself personal. I think we could have sat down and come up with a program that would have addressed a lot of the issues. The sunset tax is one of them. We could address that. But that's what democracy is about. We voted, and at the end of the day, I was one of the ones that lost. But it went forward, and now we got to do is figure out to make sure that rate doesn't ever get knocked down. Nevada can live with the $4 million. But boy, I tell you, if it ever gets lowered down, then that could be a disaster.
Well, what kind of blowback did you get from your constituents? I mean, I'm sure you've had to heard something.
Oh, they're furious.
Okay.
In rural Nevada, they're furious. They said, "Look, we voted to get rid of first it was the teacher's tax, then it went to the commerce or the
margins tax."
Oh God, I can't even think. I'm up here freezing to death. It went on the ballot. It lost by a great margin.
84%.
And then it come back to the commerce tax, and that's not a good thing. But I don't know what Connect's doing now. I mean, Ron Connect is. I don't know if they're going to go forward or try to put in a different appeal. I don't know what they're doing. I have no idea.
Assemblyman, we want to thank you for coming on the show. We're going to let you get back to work because...
Yeah, and I appreciate it. And one of the things, if you guys ever get a chance, any of the veterans that are out there in the state of Nevada, if they go down Bush Fallon, I tell you, it was pretty neat. It was really, really a great cemetery that shows the respect for our veterans. If anybody gets down there to take a look at that, they'd be impressed.
Well, thank you, Assemblyman, for coming on. That's Assemblyman John Ellison, who's a Nevada State Assemblyman for Northern Nevada. This is Steve Sanson, Jim Jonas, and Troy Warren, Veterans in Politics. Don't go away, folks. We're going to have Nicole Hughes for...
Pets for Vets.
Pets for Vets. We'll be right back.
And I'm a marriage and family therapist. I recently opened my own practice under the name of Faith Individual and Family Counseling in the area of Summerlin. I have been practicing family therapy for 14 years, and I work well with individuals, children, teens, couples, and most of all, families. I have experience in a variety of areas, which include family conflict, communication issues, grief, anxiety, depression, anger issues, addiction, adjustment to life changes, trauma, and most forms of mood disorder. The agency work I have done has given me the experience to work with all levels of issues from severe to mild. I believe in change and positive outcome. If you are interested to begin change, you can reach me at 702-370-4244 or hanusa@cs.com. Thank you.
Nevada Legal Forms and Tax Services have been serving Nevada. Nevada Legal Forms and Tax Services, the reliable option for your legal and tax matters. The original do-it-yourself legal source store with paralegals, registered document preparers, and enrolled agents to assist you when you need it. Need help getting divorced, starting your business, or just filing your taxes? Nevada Legal Forms is there for you. Nevada Legal Forms has over 1,000 legal forms and do-yourself kits for all your everyday matters. Nevada Legal Forms, the best place to start. Nevada Legal Forms and Tax Services is not a law office or have attorneys on staff and cannot give legal advice.
Nevada Legal Forms, Charleston and Valley View. Call 702-870-0977 or online at nevadalegalforms.com.
Hi, my name's Annette Levy. Did you know that we usually elect judges based solely on name recognition? So here goes. My name's Annette Levy. My name's Annette Levy. My name's Annette Levy. Now, for those of you who might want to know a little more, I have 29 years legal experience, 15 years arbitrator, 11 years judge pro tem. I'm ethical. I'm experienced. I want to be your district court judge in Department 20. And by the way, my name's Annette Levy.
Paid for by the Committee to Elect Annette Levy. If you'd like to know more, visit her website at electannette.com.
Paul Pata Law is a proud sponsor of Veterans and Politics. Attorney Paul Pata, a former federal prosecutor, is ready to fight for you. If you've been injured in a car accident, call Paul. Been a victim of a medical malpractice at the VA? Call Paul. Suffered a slip and fall? You better call Paul. Paul Pata Law, 702-366-1888. That's 702-366-1888. Or check us out on the web at paulpadda.com. That's paulpata.com. You fought for our country, now let us fight for you at Paul Pata Law.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jim Jonas and Troy Warren, Steve Sanson with Veterans of Politics. Steve had to go ahead and head out. He's on his way to his fundraiser. I want to say it's at Grand Tetone tonight from 4 to 7.
The Lodge at Grand Tetone.
The Lodge at Grand Tetone, yeah.
Yeah, the Lodge at Grand Tetone.
So if you guys want to head out there and check that out.
I think it's at 3 to 7 tonight.
Yeah, I think it's 4 to 7, 3 to 7, yeah. Go ahead and do that. We have in studio, and I completely just lost your name. So you're going to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Nicole Hughes with Pets for Vets.
Oh.
Nicole
Hughes with Pets for Vets.
Yes.
My must have just been turned on. Okay, Nicole, why don't you go ahead and give the listeners a brief bio about yourself?
Well, I am the chapter director for Pets for Vets here in Las Vegas. We are the local chapter. The national organization started in 2009 in California. And what we do essentially is we match veterans, typically with PTSD, depression, anxiety, with companion animals. We have only done dogs, but we can do any kind of animal. And what our trainers will train and foster the dog, make sure they have good obedience, behavior skills. Using only positive reinforcement training methods so that we're not creating more anxiety for the veteran. And then after the dog is all trained, we will match the dog with the veteran along with a full kit of supplies of everything they would need, bowls, leashes, crates, food, all at no cost to the veteran. So it's really therapeutic for that day-to-day companionship for our veterans. We've seen some amazing transformation with some of the veterans that we've matched here in Las Vegas. I love getting those stories when they follow up with me or send me pictures and just let me know how impactful that dog has been for them and their families.
So, Nicole, what originally got you started? What turned you on to this?
Well, I was at work one day looking for volunteer opportunities for our team. We would do team builders around that. And we wanted to do something different. So I was searching around and stumbled upon Pets for Vets in a magazine, and I was like, this sounds right up my alley. I have a huge respect for veterans and service members. I'm a big baby when it comes to animals. I want to do this. So I pulled up their website and sadly saw that the closest location was in Arizona, and that wasn't going to work. So I just kept thinking about it over time and couldn't stop thinking about Pets for Vets. And so I called them one day to find out, hey, what does it take to start a chapter? And got the ball rolling, and here we are. That was in 2014, so we had our first actual match in September of 14 and have been going strong since.
Where do you get your animals from? Obviously, primarily canine.
Yes.
But however, where are they rescue pets, or is there specific breeds that you like to use?
Excellent questions. So our mission is twofold. We want to service veterans, but we also want to rescue or shelter animals. So all of our animals all of our dogs come from either the rescues or the shelters in town. Thousands of dogs face euthanization, and so we really want to help that population. And when it comes to the breed, we don't guarantee breeds because it's hard to do that when you're working with the rescue population. But we do an in-depth interview with a veteran to find out exactly what their needs are, what their background is, if they have PTSD, how does that affect their day-to-day life, if they have any kind of physical ailment or, bad backs, slip discs, what does that do for them on a day-to-day? Do they need a big dog to help brace them and support them? So we get a lot of information like that ahead of time. And what are they looking for? A playful dog that will go out and play, or they just want a dog to hang out on the couch and keep them company?
And have a beer?
And have a beer. Disclaimer, I don't encourage that.
I'm just being facetious. So you said you talked about that they had other animals. Has this organization up here used any other than a canine yet?
So far, no. We
and
have
what
not.
have you seen?
In other chapters, we have seen rabbits,
Really?
and there, I believe, a tortoise. So yeah, there are. And
Have you ever seen any guinea pigs?
No. But I could, I don't know.
Okay. The training process.
Yes.
Because sometimes the rescue dogs or the shelter dogs are maybe fairly old, or up in years. So are they easier to train? I mean, how does the training process work, and who actually trains the dogs? And do you? Is there? Well, you said you do an interview with the veteran. So is there specific training versus to match to the vet?
So I do not do the training,
Okay.
But I do have a team of trainers, and they, after meeting with the veteran, finding out their needs, we also do a home visit to ensure that the home is suitable for a dog, or if they want a Great Dane, when we get there and they have a one-bedroom apartment, maybe we need to reassess expectations. So once we've done all that, the trainer will go to the shelter, and they actually do sociability testing with the dogs. So our dogs have to be at least 2 years old, because while puppies are cute, they are a handful and can create more stress, which is what we're trying to avoid. But we don't have a maximum age. As far as I can tell, I'm not the expert, but I don't think that the age has had a factor. The big thing is making sure they pass the sociability testing. We don't want to pair a dog that is super anxious and withdrawn with a veteran who needs that day-to-day love and support. But we want to make sure that they're passing that so that we know that they're trainable. They can be out with the veteran. If the veteran has kids, the dog's going to be okay with that. And actually, the training is done without the veteran. We've had instances at our chapter and other chapters where we pull a dog, and for us, it ended up being that the dog had a major health issue. And we didn't know that at the time. And then another time it ended up having some lashing out with snapping. So we had to rehome those dogs. So if we're getting the veteran involved in the training process, then they have an opportunity to get really attached to that dog, and it might not end up being the dog that ends up being part of their family. So
then when you match the animal to the vet, how extensive is the training? So like the commands or whatever the training does, is that pretty extensive? Do you have somebody check on them once a week, and then after that, they're gone, or do you have a follow-up?
Yep. So the training before we match with the veteran is about 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the dog. We guarantee obedience training. Sometimes some of our trainers have been able to do a little bit more in terms of if they need some kind of PTSD training or support training, but we can't guarantee that with our program. And then the trainer will do follow-ups to ensure, because you also have to train the owner. You have to train the owner on how to execute the commands and how to speak.
Being a dog owner, I know all about. I need to be trained. That's why actually we're
That's
talking
where
to
the
one
question
right
came
now.
from.
It's just like, I need to be trained on how to be with my dog.
Yes, yes. Because if you don't know how to do that, then the dog is going to run all over you, and all that training that we went through is out the door. Okay. So there is follow-up, and then we keep in touch with all of our veterans, which has been awesome. It's been like a little community. So I love hearing back from them.
What about funding? Where do you guys get your funding from for this?
We have just, we've been to events, get donations that way. We've had some corporate partners that have been awesome and inviting us out to their events. We have a company that they do a company picnic, and they raise money for an organization, and they chose us. And so just little things like that. We are looking to eventually do bigger fundraising, like maybe a 5K or things of that nature, just to get the word out. Something for me that's more important is ensuring that veterans know that we're a resource for them. When I started the chapter, I was looking for different resources for PTSD and anxiety and trying to find one spot that housed all of that, and it really doesn't exist. So using these platforms with the fundraising events or getting out into these company picnics, it's great to get that funding, but it's also great that people know who we are and know that we're a resource for the community.
So you talk about different chapters across, and so is there a home base for
Yes.
Pets for Vets, and then what's that support like from them?
Well, corporate office is in North Carolina, and they offer a tremendous amount of support. Any kind of legal questions, IT questions. They helped us with our webpage, all of that. But it was actually founded in Las Vegas by Clarissa Black in 2009, in Long Beach in 2009. And there are a few chapters in California. I don't even know the full count now. I think we have over 30 nationwide. And continuing to grow.
So you're not in all 50 states yet?
No, not yet.
But yet you're growing.
Knowledge. Yes. So,
Nicole, what happens in a situation that it just doesn't work? Like you got this vet comes and once and it's really reaching out to Pets for Vets, and you just can't find a pet it's not going to work. Have you run into that? And if so, then what do you do then?
Well, believe it or not, our very first match was a fail. Not the September one, but one prior to that. It didn't work out, and the veteran had never owned a dog before, didn't really understand what it meant to own a dog, and so we had to rehome that dog. Our most recent match in February, her child ended up being severely allergic to dogs, and we ended up having to rehome that dog as well. If it's something other than that, like if it's maybe I'm not clicking, I don't know what to do, because a big part of it is bonding in the beginning. We're more hands-on in the beginning. If we feel like, hey, I don't think I want the dog anymore, we'll try to work with the veteran and work through what the issues might be. If it's not like the dog is going to kill my child because he has allergies, right. That's something that we can't obviously do anything with. But so yes, luckily we haven't had too much of that, but if we have to, we'll rehome the dog. We won't send it back to the shelter or the rescue. But otherwise we just try to work with the veteran and see what those issues are and can we work through them together.
Okay. You also talked about the support that you guys have, you know, food and stuff like that. How long do you supply the food for? Is it for the life of the animal for that particular individual? Is there a break-off point that, that individual needs to take over?
Yes. So we provide them with about a month's worth of food.
Oh, okay.
We just get them a big, large bag. And from then, prior to going into this, they have to agree that they know that they're responsible to care for the animal, veterinary costs.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yes. And we do have other organizations that we can refer out to if maybe they have a low income situation where they're not sure if down the line it's going to be feasible. There's an organization called PAL in town, so they work with the elderly and with veterans to ensure that they can care for their animals. So I've given out their information before.
So how many veterinarians in town do you have on board with this that could support and help with veterinary care?
We don't have any partnerships presently. A lot of my trainers have their veterinarians that they prefer and have been going to, but there's not like a Pets for Vets discount or
so no like veterinarians in this city has stepped up and said, hey, we want to be a part of this, and not even donate, just like give them a break?
No, not yet.
Okay, veterinarians, time to get on board with this. Seriously, not one?
But and to be fair, I haven't reached out and asked either. So,
okay.
We bring them our business, but we don't have that relationship yet.
Wow.
Yet.
Okay.
So are you a veteran yourself?
No, I'm not. I did go to the Citadel Military College of South Carolina, so I have a lot of friends that are veterans. I've just always had a big respect for what they do for our country. I'm first generation born here, so no one in my family has served either, but I just...
First generation born...
In the States. My family's from Romania, so my parents were born there, and I was the first one born here.
When did they come over?
In the 70s.
Wow, that's pretty cool, because I don't hear the accent.
If you met my parents, you would. Me, no, not so much.
Are you an only child?
No, I have 2 half-brothers.
Are they involved in this at all?
Well, when I make them.
There you go.
They're pretty busy with college and stuff, so.
Well, when did you move to Vegas?
In 2007.
And where'd you move here from?
Southern California. Like a lot of Las Vegans.
Do you like it up here?
I love it. I couldn't imagine moving back to California. And it's close enough that I can visit, hit the beach, visit my friends that are still out there, but...
And so when you pick these animals up from the shelters and stuff, and I know there's several around town, do they work well with you? Are they excited about the program in itself? Do they supply anything? How do the shelters support you? And then they just go, yeah, here's a dog.
Some of them will. We have some partnerships where they will kind of pre-screen dogs. They know what we're looking for in terms of the sociability testing, and so they'll say, hey, we've got a great dog. And sometimes with the rescues, they're a lot more attached to those dogs. So, sometimes it's a challenge to work with them because they want to be really involved in the process. And with a lot of our veterans, they're not comfortable having a lot of people come in, which can be a challenge with volunteers too, because they want to work with veterans, but it's not always that comfort level, especially if they have PTSD. They don't want a lot of strange people around to help. So
I'm sure this takes up a lot of your time.
It does. But
do you have another job?
I do. I work full time at the Signature at MGM Grand. So.
Okay, so you work basically 2.5 jobs, right? Because this has got to be a full time job. I mean, your weekends and stuff have got to be full.
Yep. Yeah. Tomorrow I'm doing the Artisan Craft Fair, but benefiting the VFW that's happening at Suncoast. So I'll be there all day, and then the meetings with the veterans and everything. But it's worth it to me. I love it. It's very rewarding.
I get your passion.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, and we have actually, if there's a call for positive reinforcement trainers, we have 8 veterans currently on a waiting list. We've had a waiting list ever since we've started. Up until, I'd say 6 months ago, I only had 1 trainer. And since the process itself takes about 10 to 12 weeks with the meetings and the training, it's hard to get through that list. So now that we have 4 trainers on board, it's been awesome. We're working with 4 veterans right now, but again, we do have a waiting list, so it's hard when I get people reach out through our website and want to get started, and sorry, there's a bit of a wait, so that part's still a challenge.
Okay.
So have you, well, you kind of answered my question I was just going to ask about how you get out there and how you let veterans know that you have this going on. Have you, well, you said you got a waiting list. Have you reached out to try to get more people involved in your organization?
In terms of trainers?
And not even just trainers, just like someone to help you so you can...
So I have a team. I have a PR director.
So you're not a one-man band?
Thankfully, no.
Okay.
I don't have all the skills required to make it all happen. And then I have my trainers. And we have a lot of people that reach out wanting to volunteer. I had a volunteer coordinator, but she moved away. So I have to do a better job of revamping what I can hand off and delegate out and get out of my comfort zone of wanting to do it all. So I'm working on that now and trying to make that happen, because we do get a lot of volunteer requests. People want to be a part of what we're doing, which is amazing. I just have to find them opportunities to help.
So, do you have any children?
Not yet.
Oh, so, okay. So I was gonna say, because I was just gonna ask. It's like, so do you have your kids?
I don't have that hat as well, no.
Oh, you don't have that hat yet. Okay.
So, do you deal at all with the local VA?
Yeah, they refer a lot of veterans to us. The medical clinic does, yes.
Yeah. I was just curious to see how helpful they were, because the VA is always kind of. I mean, they like a lot of people don't realize that. I'm not against the VA. I'm against, not against, but typically big bureaucracies are pretty tough to get around. So
it's
I was just
challenging.
wondering how helpful they were.
But we deal with their mental health side, so their clinicians have been really supportive and hand out our information all the time. So they've been a great resource, and I'm sure they don't have a lot of resources in town to refer out to. So if they see something that can benefit, they've been good about it so far with us. So.
Well, that's good.
So now, are you a 501c3?
Yes, I am.
So donations can be taken off their taxes?
Yes.
Okay.
And they can donate through our website. And if you just go to petsforvets.com and pull up Las Vegas, you can donate there.
Okay. Well, anything else?
What's the what's the strangest request you ever got? You said that you only do canines so far. That's the only request you got. But you got it in all the other chapters. What's the most exotic, like, type, just strange animal that somebody's reached out for?
Well, other than
George
tried
guinea pig. Yeah, George dropped guinea pig.
I'm going to find out if anyone got a guinea pig. I'm going to look. I don't know, to be honest, because we don't always get all of the updates from all the other chapters, just because there are so many. Most of the ones that I've seen have been dogs, but I know when I went to they do a regional conference. So the first one I went to, that's where I found out about the rabbits. And,
right.
And some do. One chapter has done only cats, and the whole time they've been in existence, which, yeah.
Do you guys also provide the service animal? I'm trying to remember the exact name we call it at work, but the service animal, like, jacket or whatever. Yeah, the vest, yes.
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because they're not service animals.
Okay.
So we don't train them to be service animals. They don't perform a task for a veteran. They're companion animals, more along the lines of emotional support.
Right.
I'd like to start just getting Pets for Vets vests, just because they look cool and I think people would like them.
Yeah.
But they're not service dogs.
Yeah, because the reason why I asked that, and I'm not going to say who I work for, but we went through a remodel and we got fresh produce and stuff. And ever since then, like, if an animal comes in and doesn't have that vest, then we actually won't allow it in the building for health reasons. And so just the different laws of what's a service animal and what's not. So it's more of a companion animal. So,
yes, and just because they're wearing a vest doesn't mean they're a service animal.
Correct, yeah.
And sometimes, unfortunately, just because the vest says service animal, it doesn't mean it's a service animal. So it's a very gray line there with defining what that is and what is allowed and not allowed.
Well, it seems to me that that's a weird line to have, because what you're doing, they are being of service.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, if especially, if it helps with the PTSD, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not a veteran, so I get confused on some of the terms. Sure. And so how can this not be considered a service animal?
I think they're working on looking at that a little more closely. I think recently, and I could be wrong, so if I am, sorry. But what I've heard recently is if you have PTSD and you have a letter from your doctor, you can actually bring your dog on board of a plane with you. So I think they are making some movement in that regard. But yeah, I don't know why that is.
Yeah, because I mean, for me personally, where I work, if I don't even say it. As long as I don't see the dog on the produce table eating an apple, I really don't care.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Seriously.
So why don't you give us some point of contacts, how to donate, if they want to become a volunteer, who do they get in contact with, and how?
Well, the best way is through our website, which is www.petsforvets.com. Or they can reach out to me at lasvegas-nv@petsforvets.com. And that comes to me directly.
Well, very good. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having
very
me.
informative, and thank you for that. It's a very great organization, so really appreciate it.
I think so.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, so that will be it for this afternoon. Until next week, this is Troy Warren, Steve Sanson, and Jim Jonas.
You forgot your name?
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yes, it has.
And that letter that Steve gave me right before we came on the air has been, my mind's been turned all day.
Well, folks, have a good week. We'll see you next week.
Okay.